the thing that will help you progress forward is to feel some of these childhood beliefs that you have, that you sincerely believe are true. Beliefs that I'm saying to you are not actually true. Does that make sense? Allow yourself to feel them, these beliefs that you have. That's all that's required. When you feel a belief to completion, it disappears from you. You see, these beliefs are trapped emotion within your soul. And any time you trap an emotion in your soul, it determines your belief systems. So if you think about it from this perspective, if this is you, the person, your body, right? There's a flow of energy that flows through your body. But when you have a certain belief system that's out of harmony with love, it's like a ball of emotion that gets trapped somewhere in your body. Does that make sense? So let's say it's the belief system that I am worthless. That's what my parents taught me. That's a belief system of my childhood. That is like a trapped feeling in my body. Now, any energy and any experience that comes to me will pass through me and hit that belief. And that belief will colour every single experience. And not only that, the way God's made the law is that we will attract events to help us trigger that particular emotion that exists there as well. So that means that not only does any experience make us feel that we're worthless, but we are going to attract experiences that make us feel like we're worthless so that we can release the emotion, right? Now, if this emotional blockage here is released and it was caused when I was 3 years old, then I'm probably going to be feeling 3 years old when I feel it. Right? Because it's a trapped emotional experience. It's a trapped feeling of that age that was created by an experience. So when you feel it, you will feel the experience and probably in the end the age of the experience through the process. Now, this trapped emotion is what blocks us from any different truth from entering us. So you can tell yourself over and over, you can tell your mind, I am worth something, I am worth something, I am worth something. But as soon as somebody treats you a certain way, you go, you're treating me like I'm worthless, and you're angry and everything. Why is that? Because you actually feel you're worthless, otherwise you wouldn't get so angry, right? Automatically, we revert to the emotion, automatically, because whatever you tell your mind is not going to change you. Now, we have historical proof of this single fact. You look at almost every religious faith almost says it was constructed for the point of love, right? And yet, when you look at the results of most religious faiths, what do you see? Violence instead. You look at the history of the Christian religion, mostly violent. The history of the Muslim religion, mostly violent. The history of most religions are mostly violent. Right? And the reason for that is that we have these beliefs in us that all we've got to do is trigger them, and whatever was in our mind, so you can even have a Buddhist belief that, you should love everybody and zen out, love everybody, but as soon as the emotion is triggered, bang, you don't love anybody anymore. You feel angry and you want to kill somebody. And this is the problem with this concept, that you can change your mind. Your mind is only capable of changing when there is no emotional impediment to the change. And while you have a soul-based belief system in your soul that's existed from the time of 2, 3, 4 years of age, nothing you tell your mind is going to get to your soul about that particular belief if it's contrary. The only way for change to occur, even in your own mind, is that belief system is rubbed out from your soul by experiencing it. When we start experiencing it, we start dribbling it out. Oops, that looks a bit like a wee there. We start dribbling it out, right? And when we dribble the emotion out, We are now in the process of changing the belief. Right? And once you imagine, as you dribble it out, obviously the emotion starts coming out, and more of it comes out, and eventually it disappears. Once it disappears, if somebody tells you you are worthy, can you see your mind now has the capacity to absorb it? But not only does your mind have the capacity to absorb it, now your soul has the capacity to absorb it. Because there is not an opposing emotion within your soul. Does it make sense? Right? Now, so the only way we can progress forward is by feeling the false belief of our childhood, which we believe is true. That's the only way to progress forward. That is what the majority of people who have heard divine truth are not doing. They hear divine truth and they go, so I've got to tell myself that I'm worthy. But God's way is, feel that you're unworthy first, and then you'll be able to tell yourself you're worthy, and it will actually enter you. Does that make sense? So we're trying to skip over the unworthy feeling because it's, as was pointed out earlier, it's painful. So in our attempt to avoid our pain, we only want to feel good or we want to be numb. We don't want to feel the pain. But the emotional belief that I'm unworthy is a painful emotional belief. So instead of feeling that pain, we tell ourselves the way to change is to not feel that pain, which results in the pain remaining within our soul, like a big black gooey muck in this case, right? It remains within our soul, and we tell ourselves that it's going to be too painful to experience that emotion. But the problem is, no matter what belief system enters us, it will never fully enter us, because it cannot while that opposite belief exists. That opposite belief will determine everything that happens. And you can listen to divine truth for 20 years and you will make no change unless you choose to experience some of this childhood pain. No change can actually happen.